चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। मुखं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुं दीनतारिणं परमानन्दमाधवं श्रीचैतन्य ईश्वरं। नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमती भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे हे श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam by His Divine Grace Sri Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai, Chapter 3, Chapter 32, Text number 26. Jnanamatram param brahma paramatmeshvara puman दृश्यादिभिः पृथक् भावैर् भगवान् एक ईयते. Word for word translation from His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jnana, knowledge, matram, only, param, transcendental, brahma, Brahman, Paramatma, Ishvara, the controller, Puman, super soul, Drishi Adibihi, by philosophical research and other processes, Pritak Bhavaihi, according to different processes of understanding, Bhagavan, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Ekaha, alone, Iyate, is perceived. Translation by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. The Supreme Personality of Godhead alone is complete transcendental knowledge, but according to the different processes of understanding, he appears differently, either as impersonal Brahman, as Paramatma, as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, or as a Purushavatara. Purport by His Divine Grace, Shri Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. The word Drishi Adibihi is significant. According to Jiva Goswami, Drishi means jnana, philosophical research. By different processes of philosophical research under different concepts, such as the process of Jnana Yoga, the same Bhagavan or Supreme Personality of Godhead is understood as impersonal Brahman. Similarly, by the Eightfold Yoga system, he appears as a Paramatma, but in pure Krishna consciousness or knowledge in purity, when one tries to understand the absolute truth, one realizes him as a Supreme Person. The transcendence is realized simply on the basis of knowledge. The words used here, Paramatmeshvaraha, Puman, are all transcendental and they refer to Super Soul. Super Soul is also described as Purusha, but the word Bhagavan directly refers to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is full of six opulences: wealth, fame, strength, beauty, knowledge, and renunciation. He is the personality of Godhead in different spiritual skies. The various descriptions of Paramatma, Ishvara, and Puman indicate that the expansions of the Supreme Personality, Supreme Godhead, are unlimited. Ultimately, to understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead, one has to accept Bhakti Yoga. By executing Jnana Yoga or Dhyana Yoga, one has to eventually approach the Bhakti Yoga platform. And then Paramatma, Ishvara, Puman, etc. are all clearly understood. It is recommended in the second canto of Srimad Bhagavatam that whether one is a devotee or fruity actor or liberationist, if he is intelligent enough, he should engage himself with all seriousness in the process of devotional service. It is also explained that whatever one desires, which is obtainable by fruitive activities, even if one wants to be elevated to higher planets, can be achieved simply by execution of devotional service. Since the Supreme Lord is full in six opulences, he can bestow any one of them upon the worshipper. The one Supreme Personality of Godhead reveals himself to different thinkers as a Supreme Person or impersonal Brahman or Paramatma. Impersonalists merge into the impersonal Brahman, but that is not achieved by worshipping the impersonal Brahman. If one takes to devotional service and at the same time desires to merge into the existence of the Supreme Lord, he can achieve that. If someone desires at all to merge into the existence of the Supreme, he has to execute devotional service. The devotee can see the Supreme Lord face to face, but the jnani or empiric philosopher and the yogi cannot. They cannot be elevated to the positions of associates of the Lord. There is no evidence in the scriptures stating that by cultivating knowledge or worshipping the impersonal Brahman, one can become a personal associate of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, nor by executing the yogic principles can one become an associate of the Supreme Godhead. Impersonal Brahman, being formless, is described as Adrishya because the impersonal effulgence of Brahmajyoti covers the face of the Supreme Lord. Some yogis see the four-handed Vishnu sitting within the heart, and therefore, in their case, also the Supreme Lord is invisible. Only for the devotees is the Lord visible. Here, the statement Drishyadibihi is significant. Since the Supreme Personality of Godhead is both invisible and visible, there are different features of the Lord being invisible or inferior features. The concept of the universal form is material, and the concept of impersonal Brahman is spiritual. But the spiritual understanding is the personality of Godhead. The Vishnu Purana states Vishnu Brahma Swarupena Swayam Eva Vivastitaha. Brahman's real feature is Vishnu, or the Supreme Brahman is Vishnu. Swayam Eva, that is his personal feature. The supreme spiritual conception is the supreme personality of God. It is also confirmed in Bhagavad Gita. Yat Gatvana Nivattante Tat Dhamma Paramam Mama. That specific abode called Paramam Mama is the place from which once one attains it, one does not return to this miserable conditional life. Every place, every space, and everything belongs to Vishnu. But where he personally lives is Taddama Paramam Mama. Taddama Paramam, his supreme abode. One has to make one's destination the supreme abode of the Lord. Thank you for giving me an opportunity to purify myself. Please forgive me and apologize me in case if I add any of my own interpretations. Today, I'm going to summarize the lecture for this sloka by His Holiness Devamurti Swami Maharaj. Complete knowledge means to understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead. It's not that you understand the Lord in a half way, like the Brahman or the Paramatma. As you were aware, there are so many types of material knowledges as you can pursue, but everything material is troublesome, problematic, without the direct connection of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. It is very, very important to understand the science of the Supreme. And the science of Krishna includes art, culture, as well as the philosophy too. Krishna is ultimately attractive and unlimitedly attractive also. Everything about Krishna is his name, form, and his qualities and pastimes. All are ultimate destinations. But the spirit will never be satisfied until you connect with the ultimate destination. Therefore, Krishna says, Yoginam api sarvesham matkatena antaratmana Shraddhavan bhajate yoman same yukta tamo mataha. Of all different types of yoga systems, the various yogic practices, the great and highest is the one who absorbed in devotion service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Bhakti is an investment. In the previous chapter, spoken by Kapiladev to his mother Devahuti, that combines the results of all the sinful activities, bad karma, to hellish destinations. In this chapter, Kapiladev begins by presenting the results of good karma, punya. Both the bad karma and the good karma are rejected by Lord Kapiladev. This chapter presents in the beginning how the materialistic householder is absorbed in the pleasing of the devatas for the benefit of the ancestors. Lord Kapil Dev considers such desires to be foolish. He uses the term kama muda, means constantly bewildered by material desires. Krishna explains in Bhagavad Gita, you can go to the heavenly planets, but you must come down. To the extent you go up, you have to come down to the same extent. Lord Chaitanya compares the whole experience of conversing the universe up and down to something in the material times called jumping chair. So Lord Kapila is explaining the same principle, like doing all the pious activities, punya, and all the rituals, worshipping demigods, but still is rejected because it has nothing to do with bhakti, and bhakti can only be satisfied. It will satisfy both the Lord as well as the soul who performs the devotional service. So the partial realization is the Brahman realization, and the little bit further, if you realize that is the Paramatma realization, and the complete realization is Bhagavan. Brahmeti, Paramatmeti, Bhagavan iti satyate. There is an example given by Prabhupada in many places that if there was a village, in that village there's no train, but then somebody who goes to the nearby village, they see that there is everybody is saying that there is a train, but then the person who came from the village where there is no train, he was very eager to see, is there a train? So he was watching, and then at the railway station there was a train coming in. He saw that, oh, there is a train. He saw it from a long distance, and then there was a light coming from the train, and he ran away to his village all the way by looking at the train with the light. And he called everybody in that village, and he said that I have seen that there is something called train. It's full of light. And then everybody at least now got to know that something about the train. Train means it's light. After a long, long time, there's another person from the same village where there is no train who went to the other village. And he happened to know that there is a train coming. But now that he has heard in the past that there is a train and it's full of light, so he wanted to wait to see what's going on. In the railway station, he was seeing the train was coming, it's full of light, as the previous guy said. But then now he's seeing that the train is having light, and he was waiting. Train came to the stop, it parked, and then it started to go again. So now that he realized train is not just the light, but it also has the body and moving parts and stuff. So he went back to his village. He said, train is not just the light. I understand train is there, but it's not just the light. But train is also the having a body. And then now many people got to know, okay, train is light, not just light, but it also has a body. And then now he went back. After a long, long time, another guy who went back from this village to the other village where there is train. For some reason he visited there, but he got to know there is a train coming in. So he saw that, okay, the train is light, but it is coming and parking in a railway station, and there is a sound coming in with a horn and stuff. And he entered into the train. There are people sitting in the train, they are sleeping, there are lights, fans, they are having food, restrooms are there, they can sit if they want, they can sleep. Everything is possible. What you're doing in the home, almost everything is possible. So this guy goes back to the village and he says, yes, train is there. It has lights, it has a body, but it has everything that we have in the home. So out of these three realizations, you can have an analogy to think this in the same way that you can realize that God as light, that's Paramatma. The God is light, that is Brahman effulgence that's coming out of the Lord. You can also realize the Lord in the Paramatma form through various processes. That is also impersonal realization. That is also the partial realization. So Brahman realization is the impersonal realization. Paramatma realization is partial realization. Then the realization of the train compared to getting into the train, seeing the train as light, getting into the train, also seeing the body of the train and getting into the train and seeing everything possible and staying in the home is Similar to the Bhagavan realization. And Bhagavan realization includes everything, the impersonal Brahman, Paramatma realization, and Bhagavan realization. And this is the best, which includes everything. And that is possible only by the devotional service. Even in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Shiva says, Aham Vedmi. Aham Vedmi means I know, I may know about the Lord. Sukhoveti means Sukadev Goswami may know, but Vyaso Veti na Veti cha. I don't know whether Vyasadeva knows Krishna or not. Because through devotional, Krishna can be known only through devotional service. And Vyasadeva, if you think him as a devotee of Krishna, then we can say that he knows the devotional. He knows about Krishna. But if you think about him as the incarnation of Krishna, he does not know about the Srimad Bhagavatam because Bhagavan himself cannot perform the devotional service. That's the reason that Krishna has come in the form of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to perform devotional service. Famous verse that explains the actual truth of the supreme reality that appears in three different perspectives: impersonal Brahman, super soul, Paramatma, in the court of your heart, and Bhagavan. Only if you approach through Bhakti Yoga, you get the full package. Remember, incompleteness will not satisfy you. Love means attractiveness. Krishna has the ability to unlimitedly attract you. He does it as a child, as a friend, as a master, eventual partner. Krishna presents everything you want unlimitedly. Therefore, his name is Krishna. Nam namakari bhakudane jasarvashakte. Lord Chaitanya explains that Krishna has so many names, but the chief name is Krishna because all attractiveness includes everything. You can call the Supreme Lord because his activities are unlimited and he has many names. And out of this, Krishna is most attractive. He's also described as formless because he has no material form. What about activity less? He's doing so many things. Just like in the month of Kartik, we are celebrating Damodar Leela, that Krishna is doing mischiefs. He was exchanging love with his mother. He was napping in a room nearby, and he decided that he was hungry. And what was his mother doing? She was turning yogurt into butter, singing songs about his son's activities. Krishna comes out of his room and grabs the churning rod, and she thought, he's very intelligent, and stopped churning. And she picked up Krishna, put him on her lap, and started feeding her milk. So Krishna is always increasing his loving affairs with his devotees as Bhaktavatsala. Krishna is the activity led because his activities has no connection with material nature. So Tivrena Bhakti Yogena. So whether one has desires or if one does not have desires, or whether one wants to simply attain Krishna simply by the Tivrena Bhakti Yogena process of Bhakti Yoga, he can attain Krishna. Savaipamsho paro dharma. Yato bhakti radokshate ahitukiya pratishata yayatma suprasidati. So the supreme occupation of the soul is to love the Lord unlimitedly and uninterruptedly. This I would like to